How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder. To recap last night's game between the Yankees and the Royals, the opener of a three-game set at Kauffman Stadium, and the Yankees got off to a great start with that series. Winning 10-2, all-around great game. Everybody in the starting lineup picked up a hit. Aaron Judge got things started off with a bomb, two-run homer in the first inning, 469 feet. Looked like it was going to leave the stadium. And over the course of this season, Max Goodman put out a tweet comparing his numbers through 65 games to the previous season and in 2022. So around this time in 2024, he was batting .294, Aaron Judge was, had a 1091 OPS, 21 homers, 55 RBIs, 47 runs scored, and 200 weighted runs created plus. And in 2022, 301 batting average, a 1026 OPS, 25 homers, 50 RBIs, 55 runs scored, and 183 weighted runs created. And he's ahead in all those categories up to this point in 2025. Batting .396 now, 24 homers, 58 RBIs, 63 runs scored, and a 247 weighted runs created plus. He's the MVP right now. And there's some debates, and no disrespect to Cal Riley, but right now, Aaron Judge is the clear-cut favorite for American League MVP. Now, things could change, but it's Aaron Judge until proven otherwise. And if he slows down, which showing no signs of that, maybe. But Cal Riley, give him credit, he is leading the league in homers right now, leading the American League in homers. But I do agree with this. Judge is going to win the Triple Crown. He's going to catch up to Cal Riley. He's going to pass him in homers. And then right now he leads the American League in RBIs. Right now he's around the same as Rafael Devers, but he surpassed him last night. I think Pete Alonso actually leads all the majors in RBIs. But right now he'll have that. He's got batting average by a wide margin, .396. And then homers he will eventually catch up to Cal Riley and surpass him. But it was a big night for Judge. Did have a couple of strikeouts on the night. Yankees were going up against the left-hander Noah Cameron, who coming into the game had a sub-1 ERA. Coming into the game, he had a .885 ERA. After the game, he left with a 2.17 ERA. Gave up 6 earned runs, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 homers. One of them was to Judge. Did get Judge to strike out a couple times, like I said, but Judge did pick up a couple of hits in this game along with the home run. He had a single later in the game. But we also had Jason Dominguez picked up 3 hits last night. A couple of them were bloop singles out to right field, the same spot. Royals had, problems getting to the ball, but Dominguez found the spots to dunk them in. And this was coming from the right side, so that's good. Had some hits from the right side last night where he struggles. Got the batting average up to 246, has a 742 OPS. But the Yankees had a 2-out rally in the 4th inning, top of the 4th inning. You had Dominguez singling, then DJ LeMahieu singled, and on a 3-2 pitch to Austin Wells, he hit the ball into the right field, over the right field wall for a 3-run homer. And he had a big night, Austin Wells. 2 hits, a 3-run homer, and also a 2-run double as well later in the game. That put the Yankees up 7-1 at that point. But Wells has actually really picked it up in recent weeks. In his last 15 games, he's batting .280, a .351 OPS, and a .520 slugging. And then in his last 7 games, he's batting .348, a .423 OPS, and a .696 slugging. He's got 2 homers and 9 RBIs in his last 7 games. 3 homers and 13 RBIs in his last 15 games. He's started to get it going. And he was batting 9th last night. Remember last year he was the cleanup hitter? When the year started, he was batting leadoff. Now he's batting 9th. So he's moved around over the last couple of years in the batting order. But it's really nice to see him getting it going because for a while he was struggling. And I don't want to say it was concerning, but you wanted to see him get the bat going, and he really has. And now on the season, the batting average has come up. He's now batting .227. You want to see that continue to climb. But he has 11 homers on the season, 41 runs batted in, and a .770 OPS. So, he's on track. I think he's on track to hit about 25 homers on the season. He's on pace for. So you would love to see that out of Austin Wells. But it's good to see that he has been getting it going. We also had an incident in the top of the sixth I wanted to talk about with Jazz Chisholm. So he stole third, picked up his 10th stolen base on the year. But the way Michael Garcia tagged him, Jazz didn't take a liking to. Because the ball actually was not cleanly caught. So, Michael Garcia is tagging Jazz with an empty glove, and Jazz didn't take a liking to it. You see the video out on Twitter, what Jazz is saying exactly to Luis Rojas. And, there's some bad blood between, Michael Garcia and the Yankees. Going back to, I completely forgot about this, honestly. You go back to the division series last year when these two teams matched up. He kind of stared down Volpe after Volpe tagged him. And, then the bench is cleared during that game. And then you had earlier in the year, the way Volpe tagged him, he basically slapped him in the face with the glove. And then you had the incident yesterday. So, yeah, there's a little bit of something going on between Michael Garcia and the infield of the Yankees. But, yeah, completely forgot about that. But then I was reminded of it last night. So we'll see what happens tonight. But Jazz actually ended up leaving the game with a stiff neck. But he will. He hopefully is in the lineup tonight. Actually, no, they did release the lineup as I'm recording this. So he is in the lineup. He is batting fourth. So you got Goldschmidt, Rice, Judge, Bellinger, Jazz, Volpe, Grisham, LeMahieu, and then Wells back in the 9-hole. And and we should be getting Giancarlo Stanton back soon, because he has begun a rehab assignment. Played his first game at AA Somerset last night, picked up a couple of hits, was on base 3 times. He walked on 4 pitches, but had a 2-run single, which could have been a double, but we know how Stanton is, limited when it comes to running the bases. So picked up a 2-run single, hit the ball hard, then had an RBI single late in the game as well, and also picked up another hit as I'm recording today, had an RBI double. So far in Giancarlo Stanton's rehab assignments, he is 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. So, again, it's against minor league pitching, but you like to see that, and Stanton's hitting the ball hard as well. And supposedly he's not going to be activated this weekend against Boston, which is kind of disappointing. You're hearing conflicting things. I hope he does play because, he kills the Red Sox, and it would be nice to see him come back and, wreak havoc in Fenway against the Red Sox again. But it's fine, let him continue to get his reps, and we will see him at some point. Definitely next week, if not this weekend. So, yeah, and then the Yankees are going to have to figure out how they're going to work out this lineup with, who's going to be playing on certain days and who's going to be sitting. But Stanton's on the way back, so excited about that as well. Max Fried, now back to this game last night. Max Fried picked up the win. Another solid outing from him. He wasn't dominant, but, grinded through the game, pitched 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and then you had De Los Santos come in, pitch an inning and 2/3. He threw a lot of pitches, so he's unavailable tonight. And then Tim Hill had to come in and get the final out, but he left the game with 40 pitches. I was hoping he was going to get through without the Yankees having to use another pitcher, but that was not the case. Once he got the bases jammed up and loaded, Aaron Boone took him out, and Tim Hill came in and threw 6 pitches and got the Yankees out of the 9th inning jam. But the Yankees did tack on. They put up a 5 spot in the 6th inning to go back in this game. They picked up 5 consecutive hits. So in the 6th inning, this was kind of another 2-out rally. This was the incident with Jazz and Michael Garcia. But Jazz stole third after picking up a double earlier in the inning. But then DJ LeMahieu walked. Austin Wells hit a 2-run double to make it 7-1. Then Goldschmidt had an infield hit. Then Trent Grisham singled to make it 8-1. Aaron Judge singled again to make it 9-1. Bellinger then singled. He actually picked up his 1,000th career hit last night. So that made it 10-1. Max Fried did give up a home run in the bottom of the 6th. That was to Jonathan India. He was an offseason acquisition for the Royals. But that was it. LeMahieu actually had a nice play later in the game in the bottom of the 8th. Pop out, made a diving catch. LeMahieu picked up 2 more hits last night. So DJ LeMahieu right now, currently on the year, to look at his stats, in 65 at bats, he's batting 277, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, and he's got a 765 OPS. In his last 7 games, he's batting over 450. Again, that's, a little bit of a small sample size. You expect that, obviously the last 7 games, but still, it's really good. He's batting 458. He is 11 for 24, and then in his last 15 games, he's batting 298. He's 14 for 47. He's got a homer and 7 ribbies. Look, LeMahieu's been good. He's been solid. He picked up a big hit over the weekend to cut the deficit down against the Red Sox. He had the homer to give them the lead on Sunday. So LeMahieu has come through. And you love to see that because of how many injuries he's dealt with over the course of the last few years. And, I don't know how long this is going to last, if it's sustainable, because he could tweak something at any moment. I hope not. But you just like to see DJ LeMahieu playing in these meaningful games and giving them meaningful at-bats and being productive. Because when the Yankees first got him, he was a hitting machine, dealt with a lot of injuries, and, I even said it. If he was going to be part of the Yankees' plans this year, I wasn't going to take it seriously, and he has. And so far, he's proving me wrong, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. And I hope it continues. Because, the lineup as it is right now, I like it. LeMahieu's giving them good at-bats. Having Jazz back is huge. Jazz has been on the tear since he's come back from the injured list. Volpe is putting together some good at-bats as of late. Wells has looked better. Goldschmidt's kind of slowed down a little bit, but you kind of expected that. Judge is Judge. Working through the trio of Grisham, Bellinger, and Dominguez. Bellinger's kind of slowed down a little bit as well from that, those 2 weeks where you couldn't get him out. But, I like where the Yankees are at. They bounced back after a rough weekend in Boston with the win last night. I don't think anybody really expected them to go on and score 10 runs last night, but that's what they did. And, we'll see what happens now tonight. You got Clark Schmidt taking the mound against Chris Bubich, who's been very good this year for the Royals. And then tomorrow you got to deal with Seth Lugo with Will Warren on the mound. So I think the Yankees, take 2 out of 3. And then you go into the weekend taking on Boston, where you're going to have, right now you're going to be facing pretty much the same pitchers you faced in the previous series, but Bello will be pitching on Sunday. But you're going up against Crochet on Friday and Hunter Dobbins again on Saturday. But so far, so good with the road trip. Stanton's on the way back, hopefully soon. But you gotta like where this series has started off so far. I think that was pretty much everything I wanted to get to. But yeah, another solid outing from Fried. Everybody in the starting lineup produced. The Yankees didn't really have to use any of their go-to relievers. I guess maybe Tim Hill, but he only threw 6 pitches. De Los Santos pitched the rest of the way, so that was good. At least the rest of the bullpen got another day to rest because they're kind of exhausted over this last stretch, and we're struggling right now with the bullpen. Also, actually, I wanted to bring up someone who else was on the way back, Jake Cousins. He suffered a setback, felt something in his elbow. Who knows what that means? But, he was a guy that the Yankees were going to get back at some point, and now maybe they don't get him back at all. And this goes back to what we talked about the other day. Yankees got to address the bullpen at the trade deadline. They're probably still going to be in the market for a bat, but the bullpen, I think, right now is probably the number one priority, especially now with Jake Cousins being out. You're waiting on Luke Weaver to come back in a month or so, maybe a little less than that. But, bullpen help, top priority at the trade deadline. But, 10-2 win last night for the Yankees. Great win for them. Contributions everywhere. Max Fried has been awesome. Turned the page after the rough outing against the Dodgers. Last 2 games he's pitched well. Again, got a little bit of trouble at times last night, but, settled in, gave you 7 strong. And, what a pickup he's been. And, another home run from Aaron Judge. Continues to look great. Let's see what they do tonight. So make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on TikTok as well. That's also in the description below. and wherever you get your podcasts as well. I got the Spotify link also in the description if you want to listen to us on the go. But appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.